Bonjour et bienvenue à Gourmet, the channel where I cook my way through all the cookbooks I own and have never used. This week, we're still working with Mastering the Art of French Cooking, where we'll be making Caneton à l'orange, or more commonly known as duck à l'orange. Um, I'm excited to try this. I love a good duck à l'orange. Full disclosure, I did not buy a full roasting duck. I just brought some duck breasts. So we're kind of going to do the cooked duck a little differently, but this is definitely more about the sauce. I'm excited to try. Let's get started. While our duck is roasting, we're going to start with step one of this is 4 brightly colored orange or navel oranges. You can see here I have 5. That's on purpose just because this one seems small. It seemed like a smaller selection than this size, so I just bought an extra one. I figured that doesn't really matter. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and peel these and then cut the peels into strips. Smells amazing. I also bought 5 because I'm bad at peeling, as you can see. I'm not going to make you watch all this, but I'll give you an idea of what we're doing. And then I'm just going to go ahead and try to layer these as much as possible into little piles. You know, I don't necessarily like to eat oranges plain, but they do smell great. And we're going to go ahead and julienne these as the best as we can because they're a little slippery. And then we're going to put them to the side in this pot. And what we're going to do is we are going to simmer for 15 minutes in a quart of water, drain the water, and then pat these guys dry. I'm not really sure what that's doing. It seems like it's going to be taking some of the flavor out of the orange, which I find odd that that's what we would want to do, but maybe that's what we want to do. I don't really know. I didn't get that one very well. But we'll put these in. I will see you guys when I am finished with this because Lord knows you do not want to watch me do all of this. And probably when these guys are done simmering, we'll catch back up. Okay, so we just finished boiling our oranges. I have them drying in that little paper towel sack. What we're going to do now is we're going to make like a caramel, apparently. It's pretty interesting. We are going to use 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. So that's what I have right here. Let me go ahead and spoon 3-ish tablespoons out. Or just spill everything everywhere. Okay, well, let's get our tablespoons in there. I'm going to do one more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to pause for some cleaning. And we're back like nothing happened. Now I'm going to use red wine vinegar. It's just from Publix, just a regular red wine vinegar. We need a 1/4 cup of this. So I am going to go ahead and measure out a 1/4 cup. There we go. I've never heard of a vinegar being made this way, so I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. Let me go ahead and there we go. Close that all the way. Let us turn on our burner. And while we get that, I'm going to go ahead and measure out some of our other ingredients. We need 2 cups of duck stock. I didn't make duck stock, so I'm just using a chicken stock. I figure that's probably fine enough. I could have maybe gone somewhere better than Publix to get and look for a duck stock, but I was on my lunch break shopping for groceries this time, and I didn't want to go 18 places. I just wanted to go 1. So we make substitutions as we go because, that's what we're all about. Like, how easily can we make this and stick to the true recipe? So I'm going to use this cup. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure out 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder with 3 tablespoons of port. These are two things that I had to buy today. So this is the arrowroot I got. Just the Bob's Red Mill. It seemed, yes, it's definitely bigger than I need, but this is all I saw of it. And then this is the Madeira I got just from the local wine store. I don't know if it's great or not, but it was what they had, so that's what I bought. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my spoon, and we're going to measure out 2 tablespoons of arrowroot. And then I'll probably start paying attention to my sauce or my caramel. 1, 2. Put this to the side. I gotta say, that smells different than I thought. I don't know what I was really expecting, but not quite that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little stir. It definitely smells interesting. I mean, it's vinegar mixing in with the sugar, so I don't know. I'm intrigued to kind of see how this goes. But we're supposed to cook the sugar and the vinegar. We're going to boil it for a couple minutes. But since I'm getting some of the other ingredients ready, I haven't brought it to a boil yet. And then what I'm going to do is get my port ready. And I need 3 tablespoons of port or Madeira. Like I said, I'm using Madeira. I didn't mean to say port. But there's 1, 2, 3. Those might be a little heavy-handed, but too bad. Get that top back on. I'm going to go ahead and just let this stir. Ooh, got a big whiff of just like vinegar when I breathed in right then. That was odd. I guess not odd, but unpleasant. Let's say that. And then I'm going to take my fork and I'm just going to whisk this together real quick. All of this is so that we can get the base of our sauce ready. Okay. Oh, standing over this is kind of painful because of the vinegar. Oh, it smells terrible. It's just boiling vinegar, essentially. The sugar doesn't do anything to this. Oh, awful. But we're just going to let this cook. I'm going to bump it up just a little bit. We're supposed to let this get mahogany brown. Okay, so we're back. I'm going to turn this off the heat. Our caramel is the color of mahogany. I'm going to say, I did Google it. That looked close enough to me. Sort of off heat. Can only get so off heat. We're going to add 1/2 cup of duck stock. Ooh. Then we're just going to mix this together. Can you see it? Yeah, okay. It definitely instantly seized, but I think it came back. We're going to mix in the caramel into the stock. For a little bit, some chunks left. It's a very interesting beginning of a sauce. I don't think, I honestly, I never would have guessed that this is how this is made. But we're getting there. It looks like we have quite a bit of the caramel pretty much all the way incorporated. It's just what's left on our spatula here. It says to simmer it just to dissolve the caramel, but ours was hot when we added it. So I think I'm just going to do a couple stirs on this burner. But I don't know. That looks good. What does it look like to you? I don't know. I'm going to call it, right? Okay, so we're going to add the rest of our stock. Okay. Beautiful. And then we're going to beat in the arrowroot mixture. So let's get that in. Just give that a beat. Once again, this is that arrowroot and Madeira. And I'm just going to beat it in with a fork. So far, a little confused on how this is supposed to be orange sauce, but it's been a while since I've had like a French orange sauce, so not a orange duck from like an orange chicken from, your favorite Chinese to-go place. A little extra sugar never hurt. We'll wipe that off. Okay. And then we're going to stir in our orange peels. So let's get these guys out and ready. So here's our orange peels. We're going to dump all of them in. They still smell like orange, so that's good. Set that to the side. I'm going to stir this in. I'm going to turn this back on because we were supposed to simmer this for 3 to 4 minutes until the sauce is clear, limpid, whatever that means. I don't know that word. And lightly thickened. It's definitely, okay, so I'm stirring it now, and I bet you guys can even see. It's definitely a lot thicker. But I wouldn't call it clear. It seems to be like clearing up. But that's pretty thick. I'm going to say that maybe that's lightly thickened. Because it definitely feels more like a glaze. I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see how like you drag it and you can it leaves that trail. And I will say the only thing is it doesn't really smell like orange. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. We also have extra oranges, so, It just is odd because you don't add any orange juice to this. I don't know. But I'm going to leave that to the side, and we'll get ready for the next step. So here is what our duck looks like. The juices are running clear, so I think we're pretty good to go. What I'm going to do, because I didn't think about this before, is set the duck breast. So this is kind of like what we're going to go for plating. Don't judge me on how I cut my oranges. I don't eat oranges plain, so didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of guessing. But I'm just going to set this here. I'm going to set this one here. And we'll set these to the side. Hopefully doing it that way, they'll soak up some of that orange flavor. And then what we're supposed to do is strain the roasting liquid into a new pot. Oops. Okay, so I'm just doing a terrible job. So much for keeping the tray clean. But there's our roasting liquid. That boy back on. So we're going to turn the heat on. I've just removed all of the fat, all of the roasting liquid. Into the pan. And what we're going to do, we're back with our Madeira. And we're going to add a half of a cup of our Madeira. Okay, that's just a little over half, but that's okay. And I guess now is a good time to say Madeira is supposed to be like a sweeter wine, kind of like a cousin to port, I guess. We'll see how that goes. And then just giving this a stir. So you can see that this is thickened up pretty well. I did try it. It doesn't taste a lot like orange. It kind of doesn't have much of a taste to it, but it's got a nice glaze texture. So, we'll see how it goes. I am hoping that the, what's it called? That the orange peels kind of infuse in it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir. This is our port, or our Madeira, and our roasting liquids. I'm going to strain this before I pour it into here, because that's ultimately what we're doing, is we're straining this into here. I guess I'll see you guys when I'm ready for that. I don't. Okay, so here we go with our boiled down fat and Madeira. We might have taken it slightly too far, because it sounds like things started just in the last minute. Things started to almost what's the word? Fry. But I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in here. I'm going to bring this over here and stir in our couple tablespoons of sauce and port, or Madeira. I guess maybe port's sweeter. The book says you can use either. I went with Madeira, mostly because it was cheaper. But you could probably use either. I'm going to turn this on. So now what we're going to do is we need to add 2 or 3 tablespoons of a good orange liqueur. So I'm using a Cointreau. I only have so much left, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and pour all of it. It's going to be more. It's probably a little more than the 3 tablespoons, but that's okay. I think this is what's going to give our sauce its flavor. Now, this isn't supposed to be a sweet sauce, so what we're going to do is we'll try it, and then if it's a little too sweet, we do have some orange bitters that I got that we'll add in there, but we're going to get this reheated and simmer it for just a couple minutes. We're definitely getting hot. I'm going to go ahead, stick my spoon in, give it a nice swirl, and we'll try it. So this is what it looks like. It definitely has a nice consistency. I like this consistency a lot. I'm just not so sure about the flavor. I think I'm going to add some oranges. Finish our sauce, we need to add 2 tablespoons of softened butter. My butter's not soft. I forgot to take it out of the fridge. So I'm just adding it in here on low heat. This is supposed to be like a butter enrichment. Yeah, so I'm just swirling this. I'm going to turn off the heat, but I'm keeping it on the burner. I did add some more. I did add, those little bit of oranges to it. I added a touch more sugar and a touch more, and actually some salt. Not a touch more salt. There's no salt in this. And a little bit of salt in this. And I think that helped bring out some flavor. I think that this might be one of those things where maybe make the sauce ahead, let it sit, and then because you add the butter just before you serve it, almost like reheat it and then add the butter into it. I think that might be the way to go, but it is what it is. I'm going to bring over my plate with the duck, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this on top. Carefully, trying not to spill, which I was not successful at. Let's see if we can't fix that real quick. Okay, and I will see you guys for the taste test. But here's, if you watched the video, you know that so far didn't really go great. Here's what it looks like. I filled the plate up too much. I wanted a fun plate, but I filled it up too much, so I can't turn it. But I'll leave the plating in here. Let me grab my fork and knife, and let's give this a try. I am excited. I want it to be good so bad. I really do. But I just don't know. I definitely filled this up way too much. The sauce is just pouring out of this plate. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna grab an orange peel with this. This is my bite. You can kind of see it's nicely coated. The sauce is a beautiful texture. It's not bad. It's really not bad. I just wish it had more of that orange flavor to it. I'm wondering if this is something that kind of sits around the more, like the longer it sits, the more it's going to taste like orange, but I don't know for sure. Um, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. Overall, I think this is going to be a 5. I really do. The reason being, the duck, I had to find special, kind of. Like, I knew where I could get it, but I did have to kind of think of a couple places around town that would have duck, and it wasn't cheap. And then I had to buy oranges. I had to buy Madeira. So there were things that I had to buy that kind of added up for it to be a little bit lackluster. Now, was it hard? Not at all. I thought this was a very easy recipe for the most part. Um, I just think it lacks like an orange flavor that I want. And I don't know where I went wrong with that. I followed the recipe, but I don't know. I certainly feel conflicted about this one. So I don't know where we went wrong. Maybe it's the oranges. Maybe it's the Madeira. I don't know. But the duck is cooked perfectly. So I learned how to cook duck. Um, yeah, I think next time I'm definitely going to skip blanching the orange peels and just cook them right in the sauce. I think that's going to help a lot. I think blanching them just takes away a lot of the flavor. So I don't know why we had to do that. But that was the recipe, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to follow the recipe as closely as possible with things that we can find as easily as possible. I forgot this was still up. I'm really just kind of doing this right back to back because I want to eat this because I'm hungry and it's dinner time. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. This one was kind of disappointing. We'll put this on the redemption list along with the curry chicken salad from the other cookbook, and maybe eventually we'll have a list long enough to retry. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.